First Contact and Diplomatic Tension. The massive exploration vessel Horizon's Promise drifted silently through the star-speckled void, its sleek titanium hull reflecting pinpricks of distant starlight. Commander Aria Rodriguez stood at the primary observation deck, her dark eyes scanning the infinite darkness. Behind her, the ship's diverse crew worked with practiced efficiency, a testament to humanity's collaborative spirit. Lieutenant Marcus Chen, the ship's chief science officer, approached with a datapad clutched in his hand. "Commander," he said, his voice tinged with excitement, "we're picking up some unusual energy signatures about 3 light-years from our current position." Aria turned, her military-issued jumpsuit crisp and immaculate. "Unusual how?" she asked, one eyebrow raised. Marcus tapped the datapad, bringing up a complex holographic display of swirling energy patterns. "These aren't natural phenomena. They're too structured, too deliberate. I'm detecting what appears to be artificial construct signatures." The bridge fell silent. Every crew member knew what this could mean. Humanity had been exploring deep space for decades, but true first contact had always remained an elusive dream. "Prepare a diplomatic communication package," Aria ordered. "Standard first contact protocol. Let's approach this carefully." Within hours, the Horizon's Promise had maneuvered closer to the source of the energy signatures. What they discovered defied their wildest expectations. A massive space station hung before them, its design unlike anything humans had ever conceived. Intricate geometric patterns shifted and pulsed with an inner light, creating a mesmerizing display of technological artistry. "Initial scans show the structure is definitely artificial," Marcus reported. "But the technology, it's centuries, maybe millennia beyond our current understanding." A sudden burst of communication interrupted their observations. A complex series of mathematical sequences and visual symbols began streaming across their communication arrays, the first message from an alien civilization. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's linguist and Aria's younger sister, worked furiously at her station. "It's a language," she muttered, "but not like any we've ever seen. It's mathematical, geometric. Each symbol contains multiple layers of meaning." After hours of intense analysis, they managed to decode a basic greeting. The message was both an invitation and a challenge, travelers from unknown origins. "Your approach is noted. Prepare for diplomatic engagement." Aria exchanged glances with her senior officers. This was the moment humanity had both anticipated and feared. First contact was no longer a theoretical concept but an imminent reality. The alien civilization, which called themselves the Nexus Collective, soon revealed themselves. Holographic representations appeared on the Horizon's Promise's main viewscreen, beings of pure energy contained within intricate crystalline forms. They were simultaneously beautiful and unsettling. Their initial communication was direct. "Humanity will submit to the Galactic Concordance," the lead representative stated. "Your technological development requires oversight. Your species is not yet prepared for unrestricted galactic interaction." Commander Rodriguez's response was immediate and unequivocal. "We appreciate the invitation," she said coolly, "but humanity determines its own path. We will engage in diplomatic dialogue, but we will not submit." The alien representative's crystalline form seemed to fracture momentarily, a sign of their shock and growing frustration. No species had ever so directly challenged the Nexus Collective's authority. What followed was a tense series of diplomatic exchanges. The Nexus Collective outlined their expectations: technological restrictions, supervised exploration, mandatory cultural integration protocols. Each proposal was met with calm but firm resistance from the human delegation. "We've spent centuries fighting for our freedom," Aria explained during one particularly heated exchange. "We will not surrender our autonomy to an external authority, no matter how advanced." The aliens' response was a mixture of confusion and growing anger. Humanity's refusal to conform to expected protocols was unprecedented in their galactic records. As the Horizon's Promise prepared to return to Earth with their historic first contact data, the underlying tension was palpable. They had opened a door that could never be closed, initiated a dialogue that would reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Little did they know, this was merely the beginning of a conflict that would challenge the very foundations of galactic civilization. The stars continued their silent watch, bearing witness to the first sparks of a conflict that would soon engulf entire star systems. Technological breakthrough. 3 months after the initial first contact, the Global Research Facility in New Santiago buzzed with an unprecedented level of activity. Dr. Kai Nakamura stood before a holographic display, her fingers dancing across complex molecular structures that seemed to shift and breathe with an almost living quality. "We've done it," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the hum of quantum processors. Dr. Marcus Adebayo, her longtime research partner, approached with a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "The quantum entanglement drive? It's stable." Kai nodded, her eyes reflecting the swirling holographic projections. The technology they had developed was nothing short of revolutionary. While the Nexus Collective had attempted to restrict human technological development, they had severely underestimated human ingenuity. The quantum resonance drive was more than just a propulsion system. It was a complete reimagining of space travel. Traditional faster-than-light travel relied on warping spacetime, consuming massive amounts of energy. Their new drive worked differently. It didn't move through space, it fundamentally reinterpreted the concept of spatial distance. "Preliminary simulations show we can traverse entire star systems in minutes," Kai explained. "Not by moving faster, but by essentially folding space around the vessel. It's quantum navigation, not traditional propulsion." News of the breakthrough spread quickly. The Nexus Collective's communication channels immediately lit up with urgent transmissions. Their carefully constructed narrative of human technological limitations was crumbling. In the Galactic Council's primary communication hub, representatives from various alien civilizations watched in growing alarm. The human delegation's response to their initial restrictions had been unprecedented. Now, their technological leap was even more shocking. Commander Aria Rodriguez was briefed on the breakthrough aboard the newly retrofitted Horizon's Promise. The ship now incorporated elements of the quantum resonance drive, transforming it from an exploration vessel to a potential game-changer in galactic dynamics. "They won't take this lightly," Marcus Chen observed, reviewing the initial reports. The Nexus Collective built their entire political structure on controlling technological development. "We've just demonstrated that their control is an illusion." Aria's response was calculated. "We're not looking to start a conflict. We're simply proving that humanity will progress on its own terms." The Nexus Collective's response was swift and multi-layered. Diplomatic channels became increasingly hostile. Economic restrictions were implemented. Communication protocols were tightened. But humanity had anticipated this. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now heading a specialized diplomatic research team, had been preparing comprehensive response strategies. "They'll try to isolate us," she explained during a global leadership conference. "Economic sanctions, communication blockades, potential military posturing. We need to be 3 steps ahead." The global response was unified in a way humanity had never before achieved. Nations that had historically been rivals now worked in concert. The threat of external control had done what decades of diplomacy could not: create true global cooperation. Research facilities around the world began working on complementary technologies. If the quantum resonance drive was the key, then supporting innovations would be the lock. Dr. Kai Nakamura found herself at the center of this technological renaissance. Her team wasn't just developing a new drive, they were reimagining humanity's place in the universe. "This isn't about superiority," she would often say. "It's about potential. About showing that progress isn't something that can be controlled or restricted." As the Horizon's Promise prepared for its first full test of the quantum resonance drive, the entire world watched. This was more than a technological demonstration. It was a statement of human capability, of unbridled potential. The stars seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. Resistance and defiance. The Global Defense Headquarters in New Geneva was a fortress of technological marvel, its walls lined with holographic displays that tracked the escalating tensions with the Nexus Collective. General Alexandra Chen stood at the center of the command center, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she studied the intricate web of potential scenarios. "They're going to make their move soon," she muttered to her second-in-command, Colonel Jamal Rodriguez. The room was a symphony of controlled chaos, analysts, strategists, and communication experts working in perfect synchronization. The Nexus Collective had begun implementing a multi-layered strategy of intimidation. Communication satellites were being systematically disrupted. Economic channels were being choked with increasingly complex regulatory barriers. Subtle military movements suggested a potential show of force. But humanity had been preparing. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's diplomatic research team had been working tirelessly, developing sophisticated communication encryption that could penetrate the Nexus Collective's communication jammers. Meanwhile, global economic strategists had created a decentralized economic network that could withstand external pressure. "Incoming transmission," a young communication specialist announced. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the crystalline form of a Nexus Collective representative. "Humanity," the alien entity began, its voice a complex harmonic that seemed to vibrate through the room, "your continued resistance is illogical. You will conform to the Galactic Concordance, or face complete isolation." General Chen stepped forward, her response crisp and immediate. "We do not recognize your authority to dictate our development or our future." The alien representative's form seemed to fracture momentarily, a sign of growing frustration. "Your technological development is uncontrolled. Your species lacks the maturity to." The transmission was abruptly cut off. "Trace complete," another specialist reported. Transmission originated from a deep space relay near the Orion cluster. Colonel Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. "They're getting bolder." The global response was swift and unified. Research facilities that had once competed now worked in perfect concert. The quantum resonance drive developed by Dr. Kai Nakamura was just the beginning. New technologies were emerging that challenged everything the Nexus Collective understood about technological development. A specialized defense network was activated. Satellites equipped with advanced quantum communication systems created an impenetrable web around Earth and its colonies. Each satellite was not just a defensive tool but an intelligent node in a massive, adaptive network. Dr. Nakamura's team had been working on something unprecedented. Not just a drive or a communication system, but a comprehensive technological ecosystem that could adapt and evolve in real time. "It's more than defense," she explained to the Global Leadership Council. "It's a living technological organism. The more the Nexus Collective tries to suppress or attack it, the more it will learn and grow." The first test came sooner than expected. A small fleet of Nexus Collective ships appeared at the edge of the solar system, their arrival a clear act of intimidation. Aboard the Horizon's Promise, Commander Aria Rodriguez watched the approach with calculated calm. "Activate adaptive defense protocols," she commanded. The ship's new systems were unlike anything in galactic history. Instead of traditional weapons, it possessed an intelligent defensive network that could predict and neutralize threats before they fully materialized. The Nexus Collective ships found themselves caught in a technological trap. Their communication systems were scrambled. Their weapon targeting became impossible. It was as if the very fabric of space around them had become hostile. "They're trying to send a message," Colonel Rodriguez noted. "We're sending one right back." As the alien fleet was systematically neutralized without a single human weapon being fired, the message was clear: humanity would not be controlled. They would not be intimidated. They would forge their own path. In the command center, General Chen allowed herself a small smile. The stars outside seemed to shimmer with possibility, bearing witness to humanity's defiant stand. The conflict was far from over. But for the first time, the Nexus Collective understood that humanity was not just another species to be managed. They were a force to be reckoned with. And this was just the beginning. Galactic conflict erupts. The void between star systems crackled with tension. What had begun as a diplomatic disagreement had transformed into an all-out technological war. The Nexus Collective, humiliated by their previous failures, had marshaled a massive fleet of warships unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Aboard the Horizon's Promise, Commander Aria Rodriguez studied the holographic display of incoming vessels. Each ship was a marvel of alien engineering, crystalline structures that seemed to shift and adapt even as they approached. But humanity had been preparing. Incoming transmission, Lieutenant Marcus Chen announced. The bridge tensed, waiting. The holographic display flickered, revealing the fractal form of the Nexus Collective's primary strategist. "This is your final opportunity," the entity proclaimed, its voice a complex harmonic that seemed to vibrate through the ship's systems. "Surrender your technological autonomy, or be eliminated." Aria's response was instantaneous. "We do not recognize your authority." The first wave of attacks came swift and brutal. Plasma streams that could melt through standard starship hulls lanced out from the alien fleet. But the Horizon's Promise was anything but standard. Dr. Kai Nakamura's adaptive defense systems came to life. The ship didn't just defend, it learned. Each incoming attack was instantly analyzed, its energy signature mapped, its potential neutralized before it could do significant damage. "Quantum resonance shields at maximum," Colonel Jamal Rodriguez reported. "They're adapting faster than the collective anticipated." It wasn't just one ship. Across multiple star systems, human vessels equipped with the new technologies were turning what should have been a massacre into a stunning display of technological superiority. The Nexus Collective had believed they could overwhelm humanity through sheer technological might. They were wrong. Deep within the Horizon's Promise's core systems, an AI developed by Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked in perfect harmony with the ship's human crew. It wasn't just a tool, it was a partner. Predictive algorithms calculated potential attack vectors milliseconds before the collective's ships could even initiate them. "They're attempting a coordinated quantum disruption," Marcus Chen called out. "Preparing defensive countermeasures." The battle became a dance of impossible complexity. Alien ships that could restructure themselves mid-combat found themselves outmaneuvered by human vessels that seemed to anticipate their every move. It wasn't brute force that gave humanity an advantage, it was adaptability. On the bridge, Aria Rodriguez remained calm. "Target their communication relays," she ordered. "Let's see how they function when their coordination breaks down." Precision strikes disabled key alien communication nodes. The massive collective fleet began to lose its unified approach, individual ships falling into chaos. But the Nexus Collective had one final gambit. A massive energy buildup began at the center of their fleet, a weapon that could potentially destroy entire star systems. The holographic displays lit up with warning indicators, showing a catastrophic energy concentration unlike anything previously recorded. "They're preparing a system killer," Colonel Rodriguez warned. "If that weapon fires..." Aria interrupted, her voice cutting through the tension. "Not today." The Horizon's Promise activated its most experimental system, a quantum entanglement device developed in the most secret research facilities on Earth. Instead of destroying the weapon, it did something far more remarkable. It shifted the weapon's quantum state, rendering its destructive potential harmless. The collective fleet watched in stunned disbelief as their ultimate weapon simply dissolved. Communications across the galaxy went silent. The Nexus Collective had been defeated not through superior firepower, but through technological innovation and human ingenuity. As the last of the alien ships retreated, the crew of the Horizon's Promise allowed themselves a moment of relief. But only a moment. Aria Rodriguez knew this was far from over. The Nexus Collective would return. And humanity needed to be ready. The stars outside seemed to shimmer with possibility, bearing witness to a turning point in galactic history. Humanity had not just survived. They had established themselves as a force to be reckoned with. Humanity's triumph. 6 months after the unprecedented battle, the galactic landscape had transformed irrevocably. The Nexus Collective's once unassailable authority had been shattered, and humanity stood at the precipice of a new era of interstellar relations. The United Earth Council convened in a massive orbital station, representatives from every corner of human-controlled space gathered to discuss the future. General Alexandra Chen stood at the center of the circular chamber, her weathered face reflecting the weight of recent events. "We are no longer simply defending ourselves," she announced, her voice resonating through the hall. "We are defining a new paradigm of galactic interaction." Dr. Kai Nakamura stepped forward, presenting the latest developments in their quantum communication and adaptive technology. What had begun as a defensive mechanism had evolved into something far more profound, a technological ecosystem that could potentially revolutionize interstellar communication and exploration. Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon's Promise, Commander Aria Rodriguez received an unexpected transmission. The fractal form of a Nexus Collective representative appeared, but this time, the tone was markedly different. "Humanity," the entity began, its crystalline structure seeming more fragile than before, "we request diplomatic dialogue." The irony was not lost on Aria. The civilization that had once demanded humanity's submission now sought negotiation. Behind the scenes, Dr. Elena Rodriguez's diplomatic research team had been working tirelessly. They had not just developed technologies to resist the Nexus Collective, they had created frameworks for genuine interstellar cooperation. "This isn't about victory," Elena explained to her colleagues. "It's about establishing a new model of galactic interaction. One based on mutual respect, not control." The Nexus Collective's defeat had sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Other species, long suppressed by the Collective's rigid control, began to see humanity as a beacon of possibility. Technologies developed by human researchers were now being studied by civilizations across multiple star systems. Colonel Jamal Rodriguez oversaw the strategic implications. The adaptive technologies developed during the conflict were now being modified for peaceful exploration. Ships equipped with quantum resonance drives could now map previously unreachable regions of space, opening up unprecedented opportunities for scientific discovery. On Earth, a new generation of scientists and explorers prepared for a future filled with infinite possibilities. The children who had watched the conflict unfold now saw the universe not as a threatening unknown, but as a canvas of potential. The Horizon's Promise became more than just a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's journey, adaptable, resilient, and unyielding in the face of external pressure. As the first diplomatic envoys prepared to meet with representatives from the Nexus Collective, the underlying message was clear. Humanity would engage. Humanity would collaborate. But humanity would never again submit to external control. Dr. Kai Nakamura looked out at the vast expanse of space from the research facility in New Santiago. The quantum displays before her showed intricate networks of possibility, each line representing potential connections, potential discoveries. "We're just getting started," she whispered. The stars outside seemed to pulse with agreement. Humanity had not just survived. They had transformed the very concept of what it meant to be a spacefaring civilization. The galaxy would never be the same. And this was only the beginning.